You know, there are times I wish I could be more than a gunslinger. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I'm Andrew, and today I've got another book review. But before we get into that, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help us grow. And while you're doing all that, check the description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, as well as links to all my social media, including information about my Patreon. And that said guys, today we are talking More Than a Gunslinger by J.R. Carroll. Now I don't have this one physically, I've got it on audio, but look at this cover. I love the line art of this cover. I think it's actually really kind of cool. And the cover matches the other book in this series, which is More Than a Vampire. But that's like different characters set 200 years prior, just set in the same world. Now this is done by J.R. Carroll, who is an author tuber here on YouTube. He kindly reached out to me and said, hey, I've been watching your videos and I hear you keep saying that you like all this fantasy western stuff. Well, I happen to have one of those books. Would you like to try it? And I was like, you know what? I do love me some fantasy westerns. Why not, JR? I will try your book. And so I did. And let me tell you what, this book is very interesting because I really enjoyed it. Basically, the structure of this book is, it starts out, or not the structure, this book is basically about Izzy. And Izzy is this young woman who is probably one of the best sharpshooters in the world, set in 1869. The West is still wild, but we travel around a whole bunch. Anyway, basically very early on in life, Izzy's father he's kind of part of like the railroads and stuff like that, and like he runs a successful railroad business. And then one day a gentleman kind of shows up and strong arms her father into selling his business for a lump sum, but it's not a voluntary sale. And essentially, like, from that day forward, Izzy's father is never really the same. He's never really happy. He's never really satisfied. And so she is kind of on a quest of just kind of vengeance to kind of get back at this individual who seems to have wrecked her father's life. Like, yeah, he got money, but like he's unhappy. And so her quest is to kind of get back at this person for basically ruining her father's life. He's just a man who likes to work and stuff like that. And, you know, he's very into his stuff. And like, he tried to find some other stuff to work from, and it's just not working out. Anyway, along this journey, we kind of really start to see something's quite not right with Izzy, because she is a supernaturally good gunslinger. Like, I mean, she can do the trick where you like flip a quarter up in the air and bang, and like she can shoot, you know, back in 1869, being able to hit a target that's 800 meters away is quite a feat, and she'll hit it every single time. She can like dilute the pupil, and like everything just like, you know, from far away just kind of zooms in, just zoop, and she can see it like it's just right there in front of her, and ping, every single time. Anyway, she's kind of following leads and going on and trying to figure stuff out, and she kind of runs into this individual who's just like, hey, go to this kind of carnival type deal. They're gonna have a shooting contest and things like that. You might find the answers you're looking for. And basically she kind of falls in with these people who are also after this individual who is by the name of Auric. And something might be a little different about these individuals. Essentially, basically, she finds herself embroiled in the supernatural world that she did not even know existed. And it kind of goes off from there. This book has a lot of supernatural in it. I mean, it's got vampires, it's got nymphs, it's got Sasquatch, it's got minotaurs, ogres. Did I say goblins? It's got goblins, and so much more. It's got fae in it. I mean, there's a lot of supernatural packed into this relatively short book, and I think it really, really works. Let's see. I did the audiobook, like I said earlier, and that is narrated by Mary Beth Ogden? I don't know. Her performance is really good. Basically, what I kind of need to tell you is Izzy is kind of, she was born in England and has since immigrated to the U.S. as a child, and then that's when everything happened with the railroads. And so the narrator is also British. And one of the things I noticed, and I like it, but you may not like it. I thought this was incredibly funny. Is like whenever she like has to say a Y, like instead like years, it's yes. And I love that because this is kind of this high society flair of I haven't seen you in years. I just love that aspect. I think Mary Beth delivers a fantastic performance in this book. Something that kind of I want to talk about is you need to know what this book is when you pick it up. This is a popcorn adventure novel. This is not going to be a high quest with just slow-paced prose, and no, this is hitting the ground running. It's very fast-paced. The characters are kind of witty. They kind of snap at each other. There's just all sorts of confrontations. It moves. The way I like to think of it is harken back to those early 2000s kind of like adventure movies / TV shows. Like it feels almost like you mix Supernatural with like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or like The Mummy, or like it's just very fast paced, but it's also got that high adventure kind of fun vibe going for it. This is not going to be something that, like, if you want this compelling, deep character dive thing, that's not what this is. This is, you know what? I want something fun. I want something fast paced, and I just kind of want to chuckle every now and then. And that's what More Than a Gunslinger is. Because, I mean, like, one of the things is this is set in 1869, and so a lot of the women are going to be, you know, described as having, you know, curvy hips, or they're going to be voluptuous, or they're going to be feminine, they're going to have big bosoms, things of that nature. Like, that is also within the context of this book. But also, it feels kind of appropriate if we're talking, like, Wild West, just because I feel like that was kind of the vibe that JR is going for, and I think that's a Wild West vibe that we've come to kind of expect from kind of pop culture and things of that nature. So that's kind of what this book is. Now, let's break it down and kind of talk about what I feel about this in overall rating. In terms of prose, I think this is very, very readable. Very, very readable. I'm going to give this about a 2 out of 5. It's very digestible. It moves really, really quick. In terms of story, it's very simple. It's, hey, we want to get Auric. We want to make him pay for all the shenanigans that he's doing. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's very just middle of the road. We got a thing. We're going to go do it. Pacing is probably a 4.5 to a 5 out of 5. It moves. Like, at times, like, things would happen. Like, basically, Izzy will fall in with this group of people, and then we're traveling. She's with the group. She's in the group. She's doing missions with the group. Like, it goes. Do I get a darkness vibe off of this book? I get a dark humor off of this book, so we're going to kind of mix the fun, humor, and darkness, and we're going to give it a dark humor rating. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 dark humor rating. There is a lot of slapstick, laughing in the face of danger, a little bit of edginess going on to it, so it's definitely got that in spades. Characterization. How do I feel about the characterization? I think the characterization is about a 3.5 out of 5. Everybody feels roughly distinct, but, like, at the same time, like, a lot of them have a lot of similarities. Again, when you have a lot of characters doing dark humor and things of that nature, they can kind of blend together a little bit. Structure. I did mention that the pacing is breakneck. So structure, I think it could have slowed down just a little bit, and the story would not have suffered at all. So structure, I'm going to give it probably just a middle of the road 3 out of 5. And then inventiveness. Let's see. For my inventiveness score, I want to give this one probably a 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this. We get some kind of like folklore heroes. Like we get John Henry, we get Paul Bunyan as being characters within this story, and I think that's kind of cool. We get like Sasquatch and things of that nature. And it doesn't feel forced in. Like, you're just like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I really, really enjoyed all of that. And overall, like, my overall feeling of this book, if I have to give it a star rating, it's going to be a 4 out of 5. I really, really had a lot of fun with this audiobook. I think it's criminally underrated. I believe on Amazon. Amazon's got it listed at like a 2.2. but like the Goodreads rating is like completely different. Now, granted, there's only I think like 1 rating on Goodreads for this story, and Amazon it's got like 5. But I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 overall, just because I really, really enjoyed what this book does. I hope this review has helped, and that you decide to pick this one up, because frankly, I love fantasy westerns, so I could be slightly biased towards the subgenre. I'm not gonna lie, but I did have fun with this story. That's really all I've got here for you today. Till next time, guys. Peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.